Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with us tonight. As I always say on the show, you rock with us, we roll with y'all. We appreciate the love, the folks that have been listening to us here tonight. A lot of folks on Facebook Live checked us out. There's so many, unfortunately, I can't get all the names in, but I'll try to run through a couple. Special thank you to our brother Coach, Couch Coach Live. The coach himself was here in the building with us tonight. Mr. 3375, Michelle K, Madrika, Stacy, Chantel, Virginia, Sid, Taya, Jackie, Tavon, Solo. There were others. I know J. Twan was checking us out. Yamir Ben Israel was checking us out. And our brother, I think I shouted Tavon already. So a lot of folks checking us out. Big bro, you got a couple of thank yous before we move on from thank yous? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a few because, like you said, Chantel down in the QC was shouting us out. Jimmy Hyman.
Brother Jimmy was checking us out?
Brother Jimmy was hitting us up, checking us out, saying he was going on.
Peace, brother.
A couple of more. One of my partners from back in school, Gemma was checking us out. Yo, appreciate that, Gemma. It was just too many. Facebook Live was lit up tonight. Everybody was getting in. Everybody was saying, hey, they were backing what you were doing with Knife Wonder. So we can't wait.
Yeah.
We can't wait.
I appreciate it. Thank you to those folks. So let me kind of get some housekeeping in so that we can make sure that we have ample time for the brothers to rant and to close. At this time of the show, as we do every single week, we always profile a missing and/or exploited child. This week is no different. We're looking for Trinity Donovan. Trinity Donovan is a black female from Newport News, Virginia, who's been missing since January 15th, 2017. She stands 5'7", weighs 120 pounds. Once again, last seen on January 15, 2017, and she may still be in the local Newport News area. If you've seen Trinity Donovan, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.com, or call them at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678, or contact the Newport News Police Department at 757-928-4100. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. All right, it's time for us to go around the room, get our rants and get our closings, and all of the brothers who are in the room who are part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club tonight.
That's right.
We didn't have no estrogen tonight. There was no women in the den. It's always nice when it's our sisters is here because they always keep us in line. So shout out to the various sisters who join us on the flagship show. But tonight that you wasn't here, it's all good as well as that. I can't talk.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man.
Okay,
We know you get choked up.
I got choked up, tongue-tied. Yeah. Before we get to the rants and the closes, let me shout out my family on Legacy Internet Radio, of course, the flagship show every single Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. My show Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J on Mondays, and Live in the Radio with Mr. LP and Raw Silk on Tuesdays. Joy and Body Radio on Wednesdays at 7, of course, followed by Absolutely Alphas, 9:30 on Wednesday nights. On Thursday, All Throttle Radio, 7 p.m., Biker Life. Fridays, The Woke Squad. On Saturdays, I Got Something to Say with our brother Tavon. We play the Bob Marley and the Family Reggae Mix all night on Saturday nights, taking you into Sunday mornings when we have Amplifying Gospel, taking you up to 3:30 where Big Rube hosts Irreconcilable Differences, and Twa After Dark airs at 6 p.m. all times Eastern right here on Legacy Internet Radio. When we don't have a live show, we playing music. Ain't no telling what we might play. We could be playing reggae, we could be playing R&B music, we could be playing hip-hop, we could be playing 80s European pop music. And if it's Tuesday and Mr. LP Steven Sykes has the microphone and controls, Lord knows we could be listening to Bollywood pop music. Who knows? His taste is eclectic, and that's why we love him. So, Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Let's get into these rants. Let's get into these closings. My brother Big Mike making his debut appearance. Hopefully it won't be his last. Big Mike, it's time for you to close it out with your rant and your closing, my brother. What you got?
Man, I think I've heard a lot of passion here tonight, and I wasn't necessarily prepared for the depth to which you guys went. You know what I mean? You guys go in, and I appreciate that. I'm glad that I was able to hang out. But one of the things that I've recently discovered, and some people may be in this position, they may not. The truth might hurt, but we need to be more fiscally responsible, man. As a community, as individuals, I think everybody needs to know that, we have a culture of flash. We have a culture of wear our finances on our neck or on our ring fingers or on our feet. And that has been something that's been coming, it's been trickling down from generation to generation, whereas we haven't developed any generational wealth. We don't set ourselves up to be financially responsible for our retirement years. We don't set ourselves up to have our second generation have a head start. We started off I've heard it said several times, and I'm sure you guys have too, where, if this was a game of Monopoly, these other people, they've been going around the board collecting stuff, for 400 years, and then we get to play the game, and everything's pretty much been bought up, and all the money's been collected, and we have to deal with the scraps. And I just want to encourage everybody, think about the decisions you make. It's nice to spoil yourself every now and then, but you have to pay yourself. You have to sit down and put money aside, just like you paying a bill, for a rainy day account, for retirement. Talk to a financial professional, talk to somebody who can help you out with an IRA, with mutual funds, these kind of things. Talk to somebody who can help you set some life insurance in place, man, because you never know what tomorrow brings. And I see how many GoFundMe pages are out here for people who have to bury a loved one. And it's amazing to me that, you'd rather spend money on a set of shoes or some clothes or something like that, but not secure your family's future. Right. And I think if we had more people understand that, I've heard it said, a regular man, he plans out till Friday. Where wealthy people, they plan out for 3 generations. That's what we're up against right now in our government. People who have wealth and they want to retain that wealth. So you can't build wealth without making strong financial decisions. And that's something that I see happen day after day. And I was as guilty as anybody for 40 years of my life. It's something that I just really have, I've owned it myself in the last 2-3 years, trying to set myself up for my latter years. And if I don't make it, then my kids get it. And if they can get a head start, so be it, man. Because we don't always have to start out in lack. It says in the Bible, man, you shall not lack. Owe no man anything, right? So stop living off credit. These are things that I find passionate in my life. So I encourage all of y'all to be responsible.
Appreciate it, Big Mike. Thank you for being here. Your presence is definitely appreciated. So, and the way you closed it out, I know we've had conversations in the past, just you and me. One I can think of right here in this room. So I wasn't surprised with where you went, and very, very necessary message that you just gave us. And hopefully it was something that was left on folks, and they give it a lot of thought because it's important. I appreciate you. And how Stephen Marcus, Jay, my brother B, my mentor. What's up, brother? It's time for you to close it out with your rant and your closing. What you got to say, man?
I mean, as far as the rants go, being a Dolphin fan, New England, that's all I got to say, whatever. As far as like my closing remarks here, I just encourage everybody to think about how fragile life is, number one. Number two, nothing's guaranteed tomorrow. So what are you doing today? Like, stop saying you're going to be great next week. And this sounds like a gospel song, but I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Take it from somebody that looked death in his face and said, oh my gosh, not now, it ain't time. And, God gave me another shot at it. Don't wait until tomorrow to do something great. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait until tomorrow to do something, noble or be a charitable. I challenge everybody on the Ninth Wonder Challenge. I'm going to start a Ninth Wonder Challenge to do something nice for somebody that you don't know. I'm not talking about somebody that you care about. It's easy to love on somebody to love you back, but how hard is it to love on somebody that you don't know, or even more challenging, somebody that may have done something evil towards you? You know, like we need to change the atmosphere of how everything's going on right now. And I'm not trying to sound corny or anything like that, but I'm telling you from what I know, it is contagious. If you do it, you leave a lasting impression on someone else so they can do it too. And at the end of the day, that can be something that you can say you did before you left this place, that you did something nice for a stranger. And I definitely offer everybody an opportunity to be afforded that opportunity. Last but not least, if you need me speaking motivationally for anybody, youth, kids, jails, schools, corporate offices, look me up. It's ninthwonderva.com. That's NINTH Wonder, WONDER, VA.com. Or you can email me for engagements at BKE, that's Brian Keith Evans, .12394 @gmail.com. Once again, I thank all the listeners for listening to Legacy Radio. Listen to the name of that thing, a legacy. Let's leave a legacy for our kids.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you. Legacy Internet Radio is happy to invite you into the den. You know how I feel about you. I ain't gonna get corny. I get corny when it's just you and me talking. But I'll say publicly that it's been an honor being your brother. It's been an honor being your mentee. It's been an honor having you come into our home, the den, and share with our listeners, not just mine, but yours as well, our listeners, and have them hear your wit, and have them hear your energy, and have them hear your intellect, and have them be motivated by you, because a lot of people can see your challenges and immediately want to feel sorry for you. And I know from having conversations with you, that ain't cool. You want folks to realize that you the same B. You're the same dude. And I know you're the same dude because I talk to you.
Yeah.
You might even be a little bit more crazy than you was before. But in all seriousness, man, the things that you're doing and the way that you flipped your situation and your challenge, and you've turned it into a vehicle to go help people other than yourself, that's about as noble as it gets. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. And I'm somebody who understands the concept of the Bible and the Quran and all of those basic instructions before leaving Earth. And they all talk about service. They all talk about service. You're providing a service to people other than yourself, strangers, to help them through their plights in life. That's noble, and I love you for that, brother. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. My big brother and yours. It's time for him to close it out with his final word in the night. Big Bro Joe, what you got, man?
Well, gonna be real short, real simple. Black History Month, I had to go back to it. You heard me say that I think it's too short. I think that we all need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to teach the legacy of our children today. Everybody needs to understand the things that we put forward, and we want to be those people who actually continue to put those things forward. I can tell you, they don't teach it enough in school. Like, they don't teach script writing anymore. People don't know what script is. That's cursive writing for most of you folks who don't know anymore. But I'm teaching my son that. And with that being said, he and I are going to be on a family trip on Friday. We're going up to the National Museum in D.C. Mm-hmm. We got tickets, and I'm happy that we got tickets. And it's going to be a family outing. So, some people might think I'm crazy for taking him out of school for something, but I'm like, that's a part of his education as well. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what they think, no how. So,
yeah,
there it is. It'll be.
And I have to start with Marcus J, big brother, one of my oldest and dearest friends, the one who holds me down in ways that most folks would never understand. And the fact that you're going to take that boy to the museum, we've talked about this, and we know that the tickets have been hard to obtain. I'm not going to ask you. Hopefully you didn't do something a little strange for a little change.
Hey, you know, sometimes you might just shake a little something, man.
You know what I'm saying, boy? Honestly, man, I'm glad you didn't tell me about that. Like, you gave that to me as, you know, as everybody else got it. Like, I'm real happy about that. And, you know, I spent some time with your son on Friday.
Yeah.
Was it Friday? It was Friday.
It was Friday.
And just spending some time with him. You know, he's a smart young man, and that comes from you. And I'm proud of how you raising that boy, because he going to be all right.
Well, you know,
He gonna be all right.
I'm going to just say one thing, and I'm going to let you go ahead and get it. But, you know, that village we always talk about that it takes.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a really, really good village, folks.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, like I said, I don't trust many people with my kid. Believe me when I tell you that one.
Yeah.
So
I can dig it, man.
I appreciate you too, bro.
All right, nah, no doubt. And you know how stepping with Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. I had a announcement that I wanted to kind of give you guys before, and so the announcement that I have that I want to share with the listeners of Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. You guys remember back in September, we took Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J on the road. We took it on the road to Brewers Cafe on Bainbridge right here in Richmond, Virginia. Well, the announcement is we're back.
Oh, shucks.
Heading back to Brewers Cafe to air a live airing of the show that you just heard on February 20th, Monday, February 20th. That's 2 weeks from tonight. We're back at Brewers Cafe. Our brother AJ Brewer, who is a Legacy Internet Radio alumni, he was part of the pregame that used to air here on Fridays. He is the proprietor. He's a good friend of ours. He's a good friend of the show, and he's a good friend of Legacy Internet Radio. He's agreed to open up his home back to us at Legacy Internet Radio, and Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. So we're going to have a great, great, great show, as we always do. It's just going to be on the road. So if you're listening to us, come on out, check us out, come say hey, shake our hands, tell us, that you like what we're doing, that you don't like what we're doing. Share with us your feelings and your thoughts. We appreciate and we welcome all of the feedback. Just because you may not be in Richmond does not mean that you cannot be part of the festivities, because we're going to air live just like we always do. So those folks on Stream Licensing that are listening to us, and those folks on TuneIn that are listening to us, and those folks on legacyinternetradio.com that are listening to us, you can be a part of that show just as everyone else. Next week on the show, we're doing a special show. Now, of course, the Brewers Cafe is in 2 weeks, but in 1 week, a week from tonight, we're doing the special show that I mentioned earlier on Alzheimer's and dementia and mental illness, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to have a special co-host, our First Lady of Legacy Internet Radio, comedian S. Lissa P. will be here with us. Big Bro Joe will be in the room, and a very, very special on-air appearance from my mom, Moms J, will join us to talk about Alzheimer's and dementia. So we got a lot of great stuff that we're doing going forward. We're continuing to celebrate Black History Month throughout the month of February. You got surprises all throughout the month. So we're happy, 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 joy, 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 at the risk of being corny. Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J, live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. It's time for me to close out the show with my rant and my closing. And, everybody who knows me knows that I am a huge fan of Nesta, Robert, Bob Marley, and I've basically made sure that there's references to the man all throughout my business. That's the way I pay homage to him. Today, February 6, 2017, is what would have been his 72nd birthday. And this is the first time that I've had the honor of actually doing a live show on his birthday. His EarthStrong is the phrase that we use. And so I'm very happy and very honored. Of course, I played the music all throughout the show, and just want to kind of share a little bit about my feelings and my thoughts on the man. I didn't discover him until maybe a decade after he died. He died on May 11, 1981 in Miami of cancer. And he was trying to get home after having experimental treatment in Europe. And he wanted to go to Jamaica and died, but he got as far as Miami and he passed away there in 1981. And it wasn't until 1990, 91 was when I heard Could You Be Loved, which is the last song that we played in the last break. And I was like, man, this song is dope. We talked about that song during the break, and I mentioned to you guys it was my first favorite Bob Marley song. I was like, man, this song is kind of cool. It was sort of reggae, and I wasn't into reggae at the time, but it was just something about the voice and the music and all of that kind of stuff. And so I started thinking and discovering and like, man, this guy is really dope. So fast forward to May of 1995, about a week before I turned 21 years old, I was fortunate enough to go to London, England, and I was there at right across the street from Piccadilly Circus, which would be the equivalent of Times Square in London. And standing outside Tower Records, this huge billboard sign of Bob Marley, and he had a new record that was coming out, a new greatest hits record. And I bought it, and I'm listening to it in my Walkman, because that's what you had in 1995. You had a Walkman.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sitting in Piccadilly Circus, and there's a song called Kinky Reggae. And you listen to the song. It's cool. If you know the song, great. You know the song. But the second verse of that song, he says, I'm down in Piccadilly Circus. Down there, I saw Marcus. That's an actual lyric to that song. And it was almost like he was talking to me, because how many times a kid from Jersey City, New Jersey, gonna get a chance to go to London? How many times is a kid from Jersey City, New Jersey, is gonna discover a new artist who's been dead for 10 years, who in the moment seems to be speaking to you from the grave? In that moment, I was sold. I did everything that I could to learn about him. I did everything I could to find all of his music. And I found that not only was this man a reggae singer, of course he just sang songs, great songs, revolutionary songs, but he was a humanitarian. You know, this was someone who did not care about physical possessions because he felt that they would bring you down. One of his quotes, and I always mess it up, but one of the things that he would always say is, if you are chasing money and numbers, then you'll never win, because money and numbers are infinite. So you need to find something that's attainable, like love, like spirituality, like passion. Those are the things that were important to him. And those are the things that are important to me. This was someone who was half black and half white. And so he's racially ambiguous. He was for everybody. I've been to Bob Marley events and shows. I've been on the island of Jamaica, and I've seen people of every single culture lose their mind over this man, because he was a simple man. Mm-hmm. And we can point to his multiple children and his adultery and all of that kind of stuff. You can't give anybody's, I don't know if obituary or biography is the correct way to say it. You can't give anybody's stuff and only talk about the positive. You know, there was some issues with him, but the reality is he speaks to me. What he says touches me in my spirit and in my soul, because he's for everybody, you know? And they talk about the Iron Lion in Zion. You know, look up the lion and look up how important it is to Rastafarian culture. And then you'll see why the mascot of Legacy Internet Radio is a lion, which is a powerful, powerful animal. And I mentioned earlier when we were talking to you guys, we had 5 lions in the room. I hope y'all know that's an ultimate compliment coming from me, because I took that compliment coming from him. That's the Marcus's unrelated rant. That has nothing to do with what we ain't here talking about tonight. That's the end of the show, y'all. I want to remind y'all that we will rerun this show in its entirety immediately following this airing. I want to remind everybody that independence is key to building your legacy. I also want to say peace to all the stars and all of the squares. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley, who you hear singing in the background. Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. We'll be back right here next week. Peace, y'all.